Hello everyone, I'm Chong and this is the presentation for the poster entitled Validation and Algorithm Development of R2019 MODIS-derived sea surface temperature at high latitudes. So we focus on the R2019 processing of the MODIS SST, and here is the retrieval algorithm, and also there are some improvements made in the R2019 processing. For the dataset, we use the matchups database between the MODIS and the in-situ buoy observations from IQUAM, and also the Meteorology reanalysis are incorporated into the MODIS matchup database, including atmospheric profiles and some single-level meteorological fields. So the table shows the statistics of aquamodis IQUAM SST difference from 2002 to 2022 about 60 degree Naus, and the overall mean is minus 0.39 K, which is more negative than the anticipated value of minus 0.17 K, which represents the global average of skin to subskin temperature difference, indicating either an inadequate compensation for atmospheric effects in the retrieval algorithm, or a generally stronger cool-skin effect in the Arctic due to the more heat loss from the ocean surface to the atmosphere. Nevertheless, the statistical mean is significantly improved compared to the R2014 matchup database by about 0.15 K, demonstrating the effectiveness of adding the 7th latitude band above 60 degree Naus for the determination of algorithm coefficients. The difference in MODIS IQUAM SST comparisons can result from the discrepancies in space and time between the MODIS pixel and in-situ measurement. The sensitivity of SST biases to the time window is weak given in Figure A, while the spatial distance is more sensitive to the SST difference, as shown in Figure B, and such negative trend is expected because matchups away from MODIS center pixel may have a higher likelihood of being contaminated by cloud if the center pixel is cloudy. The scatter plot in Figure C demonstrates the brightness temperature difference is much less correlated with the total column water vapor in the atmosphere at high latitudes, which has been presented in a few previous scientific papers. Note that there are some anomalous negative BT differences which are not observed in R2014 matchup database and will be discussed later. The SST skin residues tend to be inversely relevant to the BT difference given in Figure D, indicating the corrections for the atmospheric effects, mainly water vapor, in the retrieval algorithm are inappropriate. Anomalous BT differences between MODIS 11 and 12 micron bands are observed, and values less than 0.036 K should be considered as anomalous measurements which are not significantly greater than zero, based on the propagation of noise equivalent temperature difference of the two bands. The statistical table clearly shows extremely large mean and median biases, as well as the standard deviation, indicating the failure of the atmospheric correction algorithm. There are 5,607 samples, about 1.4% of the total valid database, with abnormal BT differences mostly occurring in the daytime. By incorporating the Meteorology reanalysis data into the matchup database, characteristics of significant temperature and humidity inversions are identified for the abnormal brightness temperature differences. The occurrence frequency of both temperature and humidity inversions reaches 98% for those anomalous BT differences and only about 60% for the significantly positive BT differences. The coexistence of temperature and humidity inversions is nearly inevitable in the warm seasons for those abnormal BT differences, as shown in the figure. The existence of temperature and humidity inversions is necessary but not sufficient for the formation of the anomalous signals. The figures A and B confirm that the intensities of the inversions for the anomalous brightness temperature differences are much higher than those normal signals when the inversion exists, with the largest discrepancies in summer corresponding to the most significant observations of anomalous BT differences as shown in Figure C. Strong temperature and humidity inversions can reverse the sign of BT differences and make them more negative at the higher inverted intensities, as shown in Figure D. And the coefficients of MODIS SST skin retrieval algorithm above 60° North are derived by the data mostly from Atlantic side of the Arctic in the matchup database. Then it arises a question how well the coefficients could represent the regions elsewhere at northern high latitudes, such as the Pacific sector in the Arctic. The table shows that the Pacific data have generally less negative or even positive biases from the in-situ observations, and such statistical discrepancies are obviously present in each month given in the figure below. According to figures A and B, the current frequencies of temperature inversion, humidity inversion, and the coexistence of both temperature and humidity inversions are basically higher in the Pacific Arctic, together with greater strains given in figures C and D. The much more frequent and stronger temperature and humidity inversion events in summer result in a larger fraction of anomalous BT difference as shown in figure E. Despite of the weak correlation between the BT difference at 11 and 12 micron wavelengths and the total column water vapor in the atmosphere, the relatively lower atmospheric water vapor content at the Pacific side of the Arctic in most months in figure F should also contribute to the generally smaller BT differences than the Atlantic sector. Generally speaking, the MODIS SST skin retrieval algorithm coefficients primarily derived from the matchup data at the Atlantic sector of the Arctic are not well representative for the meteorological variability at the Pacific side. Jia and Minnett 2020 proposed a surface emissivity effect on the MODIS BT difference at 11 and 12 micron wavelengths, resulting from the sea surface emissivity difference between the two bands, which is quite small, but amplified by the effective temperature difference between the sea surface and the atmosphere, as formulated in the equation and defined as the E delta BT. TA bar is the average of the effective air temperature at 11 and 12 micron associated with the atmospheric downward radiance reaching the sea surface simulated by the RT-TOF model. The emissivity difference term in E delta BT is parameterized with the dependence of satellite zenith angle, selecting 0.95 as a threshold and applying the E delta BT correction in the retrieval algorithm by the linear regression. The statistics are largely improved given in the table on the right. Although the E delta BT correction is shown to be effective in improving the algorithm, the determination of TA bar in E delta BT still relies on the radiative transfer simulation. Therefore, to better implement such emissivity correction into the potential MODIS SST skin reprocessing in the future with more convenience and less computational cost, some improvements have to be made for the E delta BT parameterization. Firstly, the effective sea surface atmosphere temperature difference is parameterized as a function of total column water vapor in several zenith angle intervals. Further, the emissivity difference term is parameterized as a function of satellite zenith angle in several wind speed intervals above 60 degrees and in several in-situ SST intervals below 60 degrees. The parameterized E delta BT finally can be given by the equation below. Since the emissivity effect in the BT difference between 11 and 12 micron bands has distinct seasonal variability, which is inversely correlated with the annual cycle of water vapor content, it is more appropriate to apply E delta BT correction in the MODIS SST skin retrieval algorithm with various thresholds for each month. The monthly E delta BT threshold is determined as a value corresponding to the steepest slope for the linear regression. The resulting regression slopes also vary by months. The table shows the success of emissivity effect fraction after optimizing the E delta BT parameterizations, and its threshold determination, since the statistics are comparable to those corrected by the original form, that depends on the RT-TOF simulations using a fixed threshold of 0.95.